What's up guys, Daniel here, and today I'll be comparing two phones, the LG G7 and the Huawei P20 Pro. I have Darian behind me over there to help me out. And what you're seeing and hearing right now is off of the front-facing camera, which is recording at 1080p. And spec-wise, the LG got a 8 megapixel camera, and the P20 Pro has a 24 megapixel camera. So right now I'm in a low light situation in my room. The only thing lighting me right now is my room light above me. So just to let you guys see a difference between daylight and low light with the front-facing camera. Now I've also done a camera overview of the LG G7, so you guys can check that out. I'll link it up there somewhere. But without further ado, let's go check out the quality. In daylight, both of these cameras are really good. On the Huawei P20 Pro, it's just a little bit wider than the main camera on the LG G7, but the LG G7 has a wide angle mode. In auto mode, for the most part, the Huawei P20 Pro will use this AI for the best situation possible, and it applies the blue filter in the situation. So the picture in the Huawei P20 Pro, the sky is more blue, is more vibrant. The shadows in the P20 Pro picture is more blue as well. For the most part, I do like the blue sky filter, which makes the picture pop more, but sometimes I think it's a little too much. Like in this picture here, I do like the shades of blue that you get, the nice soft gradient, but the buildings are pretty dark. Moving on to portrait mode, both of these cameras are really good. Now the background blur is pretty similar on both phones, but the LG G7 tends to overexpose just a little bit. In low light, the Huawei P20 Pro does a better job than the LG G7. The sky is completely black in the LG G7, but in the Huawei P20 Pro, you can still see something in the background. Zooming into the wall, you can see there's still some texture in the Huawei P20 Pro, while it loses most of it in the G7. Huawei P20 Pro has a night mode feature, which I do use a lot in nighttime. Now you can see more in the background, so you can actually see the trees. But the downside is it takes at least 4 seconds to take the picture. So if the subject moves or if you move, then the picture will most likely come out blurry. Moving to the UI, I think you can get to your settings and change your settings faster on the LG G7. Most of the things are at least a tap or two away, whereas the Huawei P20 Pro has a lot more swiping to get to the modes. Both of these cameras have AI, but in my experience, LG is a bit slower and it varies from time to time. It's not always consistent like the Huawei P20 Pro, where it is more consistent and reliable, and once you point at something, it changes right away. So if you point at a person, it will change your portrait mode. Point at a tree, it will change the greenery, the sky, the blue sky. Now if you don't want these effects onto your photo, then you can just hit the little X. Now my favorite mode on the LG G7 has to be the wide angle mode. It gives a different look to your photos, and if you're in tight spaces, having that mode is so helpful. Now my favorite modes on the Huawei P20 Pro is aperture mode and night mode. When used correctly, you can get photos that looks really good. You can get really shallow depth of field pictures with the aperture mode and really clean night shots with night mode. Both of these cameras can shoot up to 4K. Now in this comparison, I do find that LG G7 exposes the overall image much better than the Huawei P20 Pro. As you can see, the ground, the trees, the pole, the fence, whatever is in the shadow, it's pretty dark. When you look at the jeans in a Huawei, it looks pretty dark. It looks almost black. Whereas the LG G7, you can still see the blue in the jeans. And the trees look so much more vibrant on the LG G7 than the Huawei P20 Pro. Shooting in 4K, you don't get any image stabilizations on both of these phones. When you're shooting in 1080p, you do get stabilization, and doing a little walk test here, the Huawei P20 Pro does look much better than the LG G7. Moving on to low light, the Huawei P20 Pro wins. When you see the LG G7 low light shots, you can see a lot of noise. When shooting in really low light situations, the LG shifts more on the bluer side, and there's a lot more artifacts showing up. So overall, the Huawei P20 Pro is the winner in my book. I think it's the better performer. All around, the picture quality is better. There's a lot more options to play with and a lot more modes. And I do like the performance of the AI on the Huawei much more than the LG. Now, if you're doing more video, then the LG do offer more options and more things to play with. You do get a better Pro mode. You get a city mode, and you can apply LUTs onto your footage, and it does a better job exposing your video. The biggest downside on the LG G7 is a low light performance. So that is my comparison between these two phones. I do have cinematic videos that was only shot with the Huawei and with the LG. If you haven't noticed now, the whole video was shot with only these two phones. I'll have links down below for you guys to find them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.